Welcome back to the channel. We have a pretty energetic day ahead of us, I hope. But I started off my day as per usual with some cold outreach, and we had some of the first people contact us, which is not contact us randomly, contact us back. And not only that, ask for the free beat. We gave them the free beat, and yeah, this is like the lead magnet, the idea of lead magnets and how you give out the magnet to show the bigger thing later. And yeah, dude, it really is exciting. It's different. I thought it was going to be less people because I also figured the list I had was about 100 people through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. 100 people. And from that list, over 15 of them unusable, where it's like no contact, no names, people like that. But then with Twitter was the hardest one because you can't contact people on Twitter. It's so weird that they do that. But anyway, I'm also today kind of realizing, really listening to that David Goggins podcast that I'm still on. I listen to it while I work out, and it really is so interesting to see how suffering, the quote-unquote idea of suffering, is moving me into this realm of kind of, I wouldn't say comfort, of certainty. Which, nothing is certain, really, at the end of the day in life. That was a big thing I always told myself, was nothing is certain, and I do believe that to be true. I don't think many things are certain. So just do it. You're not going to certainly get over what you were addicted to, but just day by day, really take it day by day, actually, every day you wake up. And that's what I've been doing. We're on day 5 of the year. I think it's January 5th, and yeah, it's going to be a tough ride. I know it is. I know that it's going to be a tough ride. It's not going to be this easy peasy thing. I knew it wasn't going to be easy peasy, but I don't think it's also going to be like minorly hard. I think it's going to be not difficult at all. It's going to be boring, right? It's just going to be boring, and you're going to go through things that are simply just going to be boring. You're going to have to wake up and go do your day and go into it and circle around and round and round. And I think if I'm working hard enough, days will start coinciding together. But yeah, you just keep it going, and you won't stop. You won't stop. And right now, I talked about this last episode, but right now I am doing something very interesting to get myself to work more. What I'm doing is I start off with 6 hours in the beginning of my day. That's always usual, whatever. Once I take a break to go eat, I think the hardest part about it is actually coming back. Not doing the initial 6 hours, it's doing an hour, even if it's just 1 hour, after you've already done. So instead, what I tried to do was, I usually go to eat around 2:30 p.m. And from 2:30 to 5 or 6, really from 2:30 to 6, I'm just hanging out, whatever. 6 to 7, I work yesterday. So instead of making it 6 to 8, I work. In fact, make it 5 to 7. So I'm going to see how that works for me today in terms of when I go and have a meal and make it till 5 and be like, all right, I'm going to go back to work, 5 to 7, and then that's an 8-hour day. So there you go. Just added 2 hours, as if hours are popping up, and then as I keep moving it back to 4 to 8, or I'm rather 4 to 7, 3 to 7, then we get back to 2:30, and I'm just coincidentally working. And I can cut out the first meal of my day. I do want dinner, but the first meal of my day I think I can cut out, and kind of fast. I'm not a huge faster, but it's worked out for me in the past. Okay, well, it's about that time. I'm going to start editing some TikToks, which I'm a little bit nervous about. Edit, film, and then start producing. You guys are going to see I don't know what you guys are going to see. I figured this with the last episode where I was like, you guys are going to see either me really tired, really energetic. I don't know. Middle of my day, I have no idea where I'm going to be. So, see you there. That was the hardest hour, 2 hours, I don't know how long that was. It was the hardest portion I've ever had. I mean, this one was tough. I haven't dealt with tough like this before. I have, and that's when I would quit and I would do something else, or rather, when I mean do something else, I would do something lazy, and give up. But I ran through it. I think that's why it's bringing me energy, just like yesterday was, when it was around this time when I was just finished making the beats, and I'm like, whew, I'm more than like 3/4 way done. Like, I did it, and this is so tricky. I mean, in terms of mentally, physically not that tricky. I could, just typing. But I mean physically in terms of even what I have to do. I can put it in, but it's really all mental. And it really does get to you with boredom and with real isolation, from everything. You have isolation from everything. And now thinking about it, like there was this time when I was doing around 10 hours a day, which is impressive. I mean, for me, that's pretty big. I did it maybe for 19 days, and I did it out of almost revenge, because I had been really lazy those past few weeks. I just met this new friend that I had, and I love the kid. He was great, and this was around last year. I think it was around this time last year. I devoted myself to stop doing that and to instead focus and stay focused on your goal. Which my goal at the time was, it was TikTok and all that, but I wasn't doing this business the way I'm doing it now. It was more vague. And just beat it into submission. That was my whole idea, and I did. And it worked out. It wasn't awful, and what happened was burnout happened. That's the moral of the story, really, burnout. And burnout's something I think that is fake. It isn't the mind. Your mind is creating it. It doesn't happen. It happened to me today. Complete burnout. I mean, my brain is on shutdown mode. And that's okay. Right? That's what got me through it. And that's what I think can help you guys. And that's okay. Your brain felt like it was on shutdown mode. That's okay. The alternative is worse than this. So much worse. Not even a debate. So I'm kind of just like, deal with it. The alternative is also a headache too. I mean, the same way your brain gets fried like that, just gets fried differently. Gets on shutdown mode differently. So if anything, it's harder to maintain a lazy lifestyle than it is not a lazy lifestyle. With a lazy lifestyle, you're just aiming low. And although it doesn't feel easy, it doesn't feel hard. It is actually, use that effort to do that, Everyone talks about this. Use that effort to do that. No, I disagree, actually. I think it is more effort. Doesn't make it objectively easier or not easier. The effort is a subjective part. The effort is person to person, right? It depends. Objectively, what you're doing, which also depends, but still depends from person to person, but what you're doing is, it's hard. When eating all that food, for somebody else, that's difficult. So then use any energy that you have to fight. Is it worth it? We'll see. That's all I can tell you right now. I'm not going to guarantee you that it's going to be worth it. But I'm going to guarantee that your life will become more of what you think you should be living as, if that makes sense. Rather than just impulse. Just impulse really didn't get people very far. And if it did, because some people it did, if it did, I mean, these are people that are gutless. No guts. Not even a little bit. I even think I have a little bit of guts. I don't have a lot of guts, just a tiny bit. Imagine if I wasn't doing this, I would think I'm nothing. Would I feel better? Maybe. Physically, probably not. Mentally, maybe. I'd feel better. And I'd be whining, and maybe I would give myself an excuse, like it's my mental health. Right? It's like, I know it's not easy to hear, especially from a 19-year-old. I do understand that. I understand my place. I understand, some of you have been through things that I can't even imagine. Fair enough. But if you're willing to go on a journey and you're willing to do it, that's just life. Because whoever makes us, whatever, our mom, our parents, they don't give us a choice to try. Right when we're born, you gotta try. Try to survive, little guy. And the newborn's trying to survive, he's trying to eat, we're always trying. We're not given a choice. Yeah, that's the burden of living. It really can suck. It can also be beautiful. It can also be all these things that you know. So moving forward, I'm going to do a podcast, maybe post a couple more posts, and see you guys there. And that was everything I wanted to do for the first half of my day. Wish me luck for the next half as I dive into uncharted territory. As I said, I'm going to be doing that goal of mine. It should be achieved today, where I would start around 5 and end at 7. Whereas yesterday I did 6 to 7. This time I'll start at 5 and go till 7. Like I said, that's gonna be 8 hours. It's a bit of a milestone for me, I think there are certain things that happen when you start something like this that changes your day, right? And when it changes your day, it kind of changes every other habit. Or it wants to. Just the same thing with bad habits. When you have one bad habit, you're going to want the next and the next and the next. Whether you eat too much or you watch too much TV. Then you eat and watch TV. Congrats, right? It's the same thing. I think it's the same idea that I'd be working with, where it's, okay, I have this thing that's obstructing, quote unquote, my day, making my day better, really. What are other good habits that I have that I'm going to keep in mind? Like eating well, nutrition, this, that. What I've noticed is habits that stay don't do that. You might keep old bad habits. You might change old bad habits. See what I'm saying? It's not real. Might keep them, might change them. Nonetheless, you still do this habit every day because you have to. And yeah, the other habits will start building, but if I don't meet my workout, it doesn't affect this at all, which I think is the biggest difference between any other time I've tried to do 10-hour, 12-hour days, is that everything else was always in check. Everything else had to be in check. I had to be working out X amount of time to... But this is not that I can't work out. Yeah, I work out every day. Yeah. But even my workouts, if I don't do this today, and God forbid I slip up and watch a couple movies, I'm still going to work out. It's just a habit that's ingrained, and I hope that's what's happening with this, is that this is just a habit that's ingrained. It's just the thing I do. That I feel weird if I don't. If that makes sense. And I had a moment like that when I was younger, when I was around 15. I had a moment a moment in time, really, where I look to my left, I look to my right, and I realize, oh, you're officially a disciplined person. Borderline a man. What does that even mean, right? I mean, just thought about that for a second. Like, you're borderline a man. What does it mean? What does it mean to be a man? I ask this question as if I don't have my own definition. I do have a definition for it. I think a man is someone who tries to have no vices, which is a difficult thing to even try to do. You might say you tried to do it, but what does your decision say? Doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you have to try to be perfect. And having no vices is perfect. You'll always have a vice. Try not. Try not to. I dare you. Any person, man or woman, try not to. I mean, that's a role model. We never hear about Spider-Man's vices, do we? I can't even think of them. Batman doesn't have time for vices. Superman's an alien. He really doesn't have vices. It's like all these people that we look up to when we were kids, they all don't have vices, you know? They all don't have time for that. They have to do what's right for humanity, you know? Sometimes they question that. I do question sometimes whether or not these things will pay off. Figuratively and literally pay. I'm doing a lot of this, if I'm being completely transparent. I am doing a lot of this this way for children. Which I say it like that, but it's true. A lot of people think of it as such a children. I value children a lot. And I value every time I'm took care of my sister or anything like that, I have good experience with kids and their understanding of the world. They fascinate me just as much as I fascinate them. Adulthood fascinates them and childhood fascinates me. Subjective childhood too. Childhood that I went through this when I was a kid. It all stems from that at the end of the day. Everyone's going to mention when they were a kid this, when they were a kid. You know what I mean? It's always when I was younger. And then when you're an adult, and when you're younger, it's when I get older. And when you get older, you're like, what do I do? I miss when I was a kid. It's like, they both don't cherish it. But it's all interesting to me. So I really want kids, and I really, I want the money to have kids. It's a big reason why I'm doing all of this, is the money to have kids and to help rappers do what I'm trying to help them do, which is have a one person go-to, like me or employees I'll have later. But that problem that they have, I know I can fix. That was my problem too. They can help me fix the problem that I have, which is kids. The only reason why I wouldn't have kids is money. So, on that note, I'm going to end it here and continue this journey and do whatever it takes to make sure I nail my 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. today. Alright, peace.